Welcome guys, this is John, the board game haver, with the next in my series of With the Right Group. This week's game is Dominion, the grandfather of all deck building games. When I speak about deck building games, I'm speaking specifically of those games where you start with a basic deck and through the process of the game mechanics, you add more stronger cards to the deck, building a stronger deck and hopefully getting yourself some victory points, however that looks, in the process. Let me show you how it works in Dominion. We start here with your basic deck. Your basic deck is made up of 7 copper and 3 estate. The copper are your money, which are just single coins, and your estates are single points for the end of the game. The estates have no actions on them, as do most of the victory cards in the game, and so can really clog up your deck, but without them you can't win the game. Let me show you the makeup of a card. So this is just your basic kingdom card. Here's the setup right here. We have our victory cards up here, including curses. We have our coins here. Your 1 coin, your 2 coin, your 3, copper, silver, gold. Then you have your 10 kingdoms. And those are chosen randomly, and there's various ways to do it. I particularly like to use an app that I tell it which expansions I'm using, and the app will tell me here are 10 cards that you can use, completely random. I've also, just for fun, added a couple of events here. The events come from the Adventures expansion, which is the second to last expansion. There was a new expansion came out just in the last few months called Empires, which I'm still looking forward to buying and getting a chance to play. The cards themselves, if you look down here at the bottom left hand corner, you'll see the cost of buying a card. You can buy a copper for free, you can buy silver for 3, and a gold for 6. Now this usually confuses people, saying if I pay 6, surely this card must be worth 6. No, how I see this is you are spending your money, and this is the interest that might come up later on for that money that you're investing. You're investing 6, and later on you've got to get 3 coins worth of interest. The victory cards range from cost of 2 for 1 victory point to a cost of 8 for 6 victory points. And on these cards you can see that there's various actions that can be taken. So on your turn, you take 5 cards. In this case, I have 3 copper and 2 estate, which means I have 3 cards that I can spend, 3 coins that I can spend. So I'm going to take myself a village, which gives me later on 1 card and 2 actions. That goes into the discard pile. My opponents then each take a turn, and then but I will make sure that I have my 5 cards in hand. How a turn actually works is you need to remember your ABCs. You have your action phase, you have your buy phase, then you have your cleanup phase. It can't be more simple than that. Your action phase means that you get to play any actions in your hand. You have, at the start of your turn, 1 action and 1 buy. If I play this card, it lets me draw another card and then gives me 2 extra actions. So if I had more cards and if I wanted to, I could play more action cards from my hand and continue to do so until I have played all my actions. Then I would play any coins, and let's say I'd played this card, the festival. There's an extra 2 coins there, so this would be 6 coins that I have to spend, and I would take my adventurer. That's a really good card. Or I could take a gold. Put that there into the discard pile. If at any time I go to draw cards and there are no cards to draw, I simply take my discard pile and shuffle the cards. I've done that. I've done my buy. Also in the festival earlier on, we could see that you can have extra buys if you have a card that tells you to do so. The game ends when either the provinces are depleted or when any 3 of the supplies have been depleted. A nice little wrinkle are the events. The events are just extra things that can be done. These are actually classified as your buys, but what's different is when you buy one of these cards, it goes into your discard pile and then into your deck. With these, you simply do the event, whatever it is. For instance, the raid, pay 5 as a buy, gain a silver per silver you have in play. Each other player puts his -1 card token on his deck, which is just a thing that was in that expansion. At the end of the game, you add up the victory points here at the bottom, and the person with the most victory points wins. If in the case of a tie, the person that's had the least amount of turns gets to be the winner. If the people with the equal amount of victory points have had the equal amount of turns, then they get to rejoice in a shared victory. Rawr! Just get a dice out and just roll it. Whoever get the highest just won. This is not one of my favourite games, but it is in my top 10 favourite deck building games because it is a classic and because it is so much fun. It introduced me to a type of game which is definitely one of my favourite types of games. It runs very close with worker placement games as my truly favourite types of games. I think this is a great game for beginner groups and even intermediate groups. This is a great game to play with couples, and I know that I have a lot of fun playing this with my kids as well. My son, as young as 7, actually played this game with me a lot. It's a really great introduction to how deck builders work and can lead on to the better deck builders that are out there. But there is so much variety. If you look over here, these are all the expansions for Dominion that I have, which is everything except for empires, and it all fits in this artist box that my wife had made for me. And all my cards are in here. There is so much variety that the game just has never gotten boring for me. I really enjoy it. I find that if I get the base game out, I can introduce it to people really, really quickly, play it 2 or 3 times, and then I can move on to just about any expansion that is out there. There isn't that much extra complexity there. It is such a simple game, such a fun game. I will admit, guys, that this is a game that I was very unsure about getting into because I was super hipster and didn't want to get sucked into the cult of the new, because everybody was talking about this game as if it was the game and the only game that anybody ever needed to play ever again, and I didn't want to believe that. Very soon after buying this game and trying it out a few times, I came to regret that decision because this is a really fun game. This is a game that I can play with my friends. I can play it with my spouse. I play it with my kids. It is not a game for heavier gamers. They don't want to admit enjoying this game. They will point you towards other deck builders that they like, or just point to other games that have zero anything to do with the deck building mechanic. And then you've got your Magic the Gathering players that will say that that is a deck building game. Magic is a great game. It's not a deck building game. So I would definitely suggest that you run out and buy this and buy every expansion as quickly as you can, except for Alchemy. Alchemy is awful. So until next time, guys, this is John, the Board Game Haver. Bye.